Hey guys, we have something really important we need to discuss. Most of you have performance problems that you're not even aware of that causes decreased fuel economy, more trips to the repair shop, or you're just not getting the mileage out of your vehicles that you should. What causes this? Carbon buildup. That's right. Whether you have a direct injection engine, GDI, or port fuel injection, TBI, throttle body injection, turbocharged engine, really, it affects all of it. Now, how does this happen? There's multiple ways. I'm finding a common denominator, the EGR valve. Although the EGR valve isn't used on most direct injection vehicles, they use variable valve timing, an overlap, keeping a little bit of exhaust gases inside the combustion chamber to get rid of harmful NOx emissions. And as for the other systems, they use the exhaust gas recirculation valve, the EGR valve, and they introduce the gases back in through the intake. And those gases are burned off. They contain 20% oxygen, 80% nitrogen, and that's for the air that actually enters the intake. That's why they keep a small amount of this gases inside the engine for the combustion process to help with emissions. Now, if you've ever saw the inside of an EGR valve, well, if it's a vacuum controlled one or an electric controlled one, you definitely need to clean it. That's for sure, every so often. So these things get gunked up. They can cause a lot of performance issues just by themselves. From the exhaust. You see all the soot that comes out the tailpipe, so it kind of gives you an idea. Well, it's actually worse, it seems like, in the EGR valve because you don't have all these other things like catalytic converter and things of that nature before it. So what can you do? Well, like I said, check your EGR valve out. You can use a vacuum gauge or do this with a scan tool depending on the type you have. Now, the best thing I would do, you do get clogged fuel injectors. STP 5-in-1 fuel system cleaner is a great cleaner to use. As a matter of fact, you can check this out. I've actually used it myself along with others. It does go a long way to help. People say additives do not work in direct injection engines. Well, that's definitely not true. Even the manufacturer says, go ahead, use additives every so often. The Hyundai manufacturer of my vehicle, 2014 Hyundai Elantra GT, says to do this every so often, the treatment for the fuel system. Now, as for your vehicle, you can check out your manual, see what it says, but I'm telling you, I've had some success. This is preventative maintenance. If it's completely clogged up, it almost makes it impossible. So that's why I like to do it every so often. You don't want to use STP. You've had something you've had great luck with before, like Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner. Hey, works just as good. Go for it. I also use intake valve cleaners, as you've seen in other videos, to clean the intake valves so the carbon deposits that are left. See, between the oil vapors from the PCV system, positive crankcase ventilation, or you have that combined with the soot from the EGR valve, it can be pretty bad. So walnut shell blasting works. You have to remove the intake and so forth. The good thing about the intake valve cleaner is if you'll just break that out, the spray cleaner out, whatever you want to use, CRC or something else, maybe with a PEA additive in it. It's a great cleaner for carbon deposits. You can actually just do a small cleaning every so often. That's what I prefer to do personally. So do a really good cleaning if you've never done it before. Usually they'll say about every 15 to 30,000 miles. Just all depends. If the engine has really bad carbon deposit issues, then you'll probably want to do every 15,000 miles. But what I like to do is preventative maintenance, as I said. And so I'll take the spray cleaner and maybe, once a week or maybe even once a month. It just all depends. I change it up a little bit. I'm not perfect on it, but I'll keep one can on me and I'll spray in it for, like maybe a couple minutes, clean it out really well. Voila. It seems to keep the carbon deposits down. It would help you if you want to get a borescope camera, go inside the engine, take a look at it. You'll have to check your particular vehicle out. Some vehicles it's really hard to get a borescope into. Guys, if there's any helpful tips you can share, like an oil catch can or something that you've realized yourself, hey, please share it with us. And even the PCV system, we know about the oil catch can, most people do. But what most people don't talk about is the breather side of the PCV system. And I've seen oil come back from the breather side many a times, dripping on the air filter and so on, and most of the time making its way back into the intake. And this is where I also put in a filter on this as well. It helps out. Not an oil catch can, I use something a little bit different. You'll have to check out my videos, but it works. Over the course of time, hey, that's going to cause some damage. I mean, you don't want a low speed pre-ignition, LSPI, or any other problems that associate with this. As always, thank you for watching Nate's Interactive Auto, and I really appreciate your kindness in sharing your experience, knowledge, and skills with the NIE community. Thank you for watching.